Xiaomi has just launched the Mi 9 in Malaysia at the beginning of April, and it is by far one of the best smartphones launched by the company because it has some of the few best specs that can be found in a smartphone. Xiaomi has been known to launch devices with higher specs for a lower price compared to other devices in the market, so let's see if the Mi 9 is really worth its price of 1,999 ringgit. Starting with the display, the Mi 9 comes with a 6.39-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED display, and I noticed that the color contrast is great and the display offers vibrant colors. The display can also be really bright when it is at its maximum, though I must say the brightest display I've ever seen on a smartphone is still the Vivo V15 Pro. While many flagship smartphones are moving towards punch-hole display or full displays with elevating or pop-up cameras, the Mi 9 comes with a drop dot notch, and I'm okay with that. The notch houses the front camera that supports face unlock, and it has been accurate and fast since I've started using it. The Mi 9 also has an optical in-display fingerprint sensor that is more accurate compared to previous smartphones I've tried before. Sadly, the Mi 9 has no headphone jack and there's also no dongle included in the box, but its audio quality is still impressive. Playing song at its maximum poses no problem at all. It's still clear with no buzzing or any distortion, but it would have been better if the Mi 9 had dual stereo speakers. I've received the Mi 9 in piano black, and though it is not as pretty as the other two colors, it looks very minimalistic and sleek. The back of the phone comes with a very reflective finish to the point where you can actually use it as a mirror, but with a slight distortion because it has an all-curved back design. Needless to say, the Mi 9 comes with the latest Snapdragon 855 chipset paired with 6GB of RAM and 128GB of storage, and it really does what is expected of it. Apps are launched within a split second, and gaming with HD graphics and ultra frame rates doesn't cause any lagging at all. On the other hand, MIUI 10 on the Mi 9 is something I don't care for because it's still too extra with all the additional apps that are pre-installed in the phone. I finally got used to the way it clears its recent apps, but the lack of an app drawer is still a drawback. The Mi 9 comes with a 48MP main camera paired with a 12MP telephoto lens and a 16MP ultra-wide camera, and here's where I have second thoughts about the phone. The daytime photography is what you expect, the images have great details and colors really pop out. Even with AI, the phone is capable of balancing the colors to ensure that they don't look too washed out but also not too oversaturated. I also found the portrait mode rather impressive as its bokeh effect looks natural even though there is a slight inaccuracy when it comes to differentiating the foreground and background at times. I can also adjust the blur level of the pictures and use the adjustment mode called Light Trails that allows me to change the bokeh effect on the background. The telephoto camera comes with 2x zoom that still looks great with most details retained with a little bit more noise, but if I had to pick between this and the ultra-wide camera, I'd choose the latter. The ultra-wide camera is especially useful when it comes to taking landscape pictures. There is a little bit more noise compared to pictures taken by the main camera, but it's still quite sharp and the distortion isn't as obvious. The colors are also really balanced and natural, especially when it comes to the color of the skies. However, once the Mi 9 is used for low-light situations, that's when its greatest weakness reveals itself. The Mi 9's photo quality in low-light situation is really dissatisfactory because it suffers a great loss of details where it looks like it's taken with a very low-quality camera. The noise on the pictures are very apparent, and thanks to the lack of OIS, the final image quality reduces greatly. There are also instances when the colors are slightly altered and comes with a greenish tint. That being said, the Mi 9's cameras are definitely greater than the Mi 8 that only had dual 12MP camera. There's a 20MP front camera on the Mi 9 and it produces selfies that are more natural despite having AI mode switched on. There are 3 options in the camera: beauty, remodeling and makeup, which all helps to fine-tune and provide enhancement to your selfies. However, these modes do not offer drastic changes even when I chose the highest settings, and I personally prefer that because I get to minimize my flaws while still looking like myself. While on the rear cameras the portrait mode was less accurate but produced more natural results, it's the opposite with the Mi 9's front camera. Its front camera has an artificial bokeh effect but higher accuracy in differentiating the foreground and the background. I appreciate that the studio lighting adjustment mode has lots of options, but the selfies end up looking like a bad Photoshop, which is why I will probably never use them. Now, the 3300 mAh battery of the Mi 9 might be less than the Mi 8, but it still managed to last me a full day most of the time. I love that it supports wireless charging and also 27W wired charging, even though I wasn't able to test it out as the charger that came in the box is an 18W charging brick. It takes slightly more than an hour to fully charge the phone, which is pretty standard, but I'd expect it to fully charge in around 40 minutes if the phone charges with a 27W charger. The Mi 9 also has a 20W wireless charger which outperforms an 18W wired charger, but unfortunately it isn't included in the box. The Mi 9 is a great phone overall, but its cameras failed to impress me when it comes to low light situation. For the price of 1,999 ringgit, the Mi 9 is definitely a flagship device that I'd recommend. It comes with the latest flagship processor, has a triple camera setup that works really great during daytime, and gaming, playing videos and music on the phone is nearly flawless. The only downside of the Mi 9 is its low light photography capabilities. There are several devices out there that can perform much better, such as Samsung's S10e, Oppo's R17 Pro, and even Vivo's V15 Pro, but the first two cost much more while the V15 Pro comes with a mid-range processor that cannot compare to the Snapdragon 855 chipset in the Mi 9. Truth is, the Mi 9 is a flagship phone that costs much less compared to other flagship devices, which is why it's worth its value. It's a budget flagship phone that you should definitely go for unless low light photography is your main purchasing factor. So that's it for our video today. I hope you liked this video, and if you like this video then give it a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe to our channel KLGadgetTV, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!